The Supreme Court plans to issue more rulings this morning as we wait for a final decision on the justices possibly overturning Roe v. Wade. In the latest CBS News poll, 50% of Americans say they would, in their words, care a lot if the ruling that makes abortion legal nationwide is thrown out. If that happens, it would run against decisions by other countries to make abortion more available. Holly Williams recently visited one of them, Ireland, and met a woman who talked about her own difficult experience.
The doctor doing the scan got very quiet, and she turned the screen away and she said, "Is your husband here?"
Amy Callahan is originally from North Carolina, but has lived in Dublin with her Irish husband for 17 years. When she got pregnant with their second child in 2017, she was ecstatic until her 12-week scan.
The top of the baby's skull hadn't formed properly, so the whole brain was outside of the skull. And she said, it's not a pregnancy, the baby's not going to live. And she said,
at most, she was told, the baby would survive a few days after birth. She felt an abortion was the kindest choice.
I just couldn't imagine how it would work that you would give birth only to watch the baby die and probably struggle to breathe and probably be in pain.
But in Ireland, abortion was illegal in almost all cases, forcing Amy to travel to England for the procedure. She told us she was lucky she could afford to do so, instead of carrying a baby for months that she'd never take home.
I think it's inhumane to me, like as a mother it would have been, but also to the baby. It just seems like an incredibly horrific way to pass away.
Ireland is nearly 80% Catholic and used to have some of the most restrictive abortion laws in the world. So strict that in 2012, when Savita Halappanavar began to miscarry her baby at 17 weeks pregnant, she was denied an abortion. As a result, she developed sepsis, which killed her.
Never again! Never
her death fueled angry protests, eventually leading to a referendum on abortion. With more than 2/3 of voters in support, abortion was finally legalised in Ireland in 2018. In fact, abortion is now widely available in nearly all of Europe, though with some conditions. If Roe v. Wade is overturned and some US states ban abortion, even in cases of rape, they'll be joining a club that includes Iraq, Egypt and Nicaragua. There are still many in Ireland who oppose abortion rights, while for others, the new laws don't go far enough.
Abortion is now legal in all circumstances in Ireland until the 12th week of pregnancy and in very limited circumstances until the 24th week.
In 40 years
Dr. Peter Boylan says women should be free to make the best decision for themselves without the law interfering at all. He's an OB-GYN who's delivered more than 4,000 babies.
What is your advice to Americans about what the reality is of living in a place where a woman can't get an abortion?
Okay. Living in a country the size of the United States and the size of the individual states where a woman cannot access abortion care will end up with maternal death. There is no question about that. Women will die as a consequence of this.
He says if Roe v. Wade is overturned, it's the poorest women in America who can't afford to travel outside their state who'll suffer the most, while women who get abortions could face prosecution.
It's medieval. You know, what is supposed to be the greatest democracy in the world. It's a tragedy for the United States.
Amy Callahan says nobody should judge women who choose to have an abortion.
I think it's a very sad move. There are so many different reasons why somebody might want to end a pregnancy. I think it's going to have a detrimental effect on women and children.
For CBS Mornings, Holly Williams, Ireland.